I knew something was wrong the moment her phone buzzed. It was 7:43 p.m. We were sitting in the living room, half watching some Netflix series we'd both lost interest in weeks ago. Emily's hand shot toward her phone faster than I'd ever seen it move for me. She turned the screen slightly away, her face illuminated by the glow, lips pressing together in that faint, guilty line I'd learned to recognize over the years. I didn't say anything at first. I just watched. Her thumb moved, typing quickly, deleting, typing again. A tiny smile flickered there and gone. "Who's that?" I asked casually, my eyes still on the TV. "Work stuff," she said too quickly. "Nothing important. Work stuff." And nearly 8 on a Friday night. Emily worked in marketing. There was always some campaign, some deadline, some after-hours drinks with the team. I'd grown used to the excuses over the past 6 months. But something about tonight felt different. More deliberate, more planned. I let a minute pass before saying quietly, "Is it him again?" Her head snapped toward me. "What? Who?" "You know who," I said. "Daniel." There it was, the slight widening of her eyes, the faint flush in her cheeks. Not from guilt, no. From being caught off guard. "He's just a coworker," she said, rolling her eyes, but her voice had that edge. Defensive. "You're being paranoid, James." Paranoid. The word people use when they want you to stop digging, stop questioning. "I told you before," I said evenly. "I don't like the way he looks at you. I don't like the late-night texts. And I especially don't like the way you light up when his name comes up." "God, you sound insane," she muttered, grabbing her glass of wine. "We're colleagues. Friends. That's it." But I could see her knuckles tighten around the stem. At 9:12 p.m. she stood up, smoothing her blouse as if we'd been out to dinner. "I'm going to meet the team for a drink," she said, avoiding my eyes. "Don't wait up." There it was. The decision. I leaned forward, elbows on my knees. "Don't meet him at that bar, Emily." She froze for a second, hand on the doorknob. "What?" "You heard me. Don't meet him there." She turned, her expression somewhere between pity and annoyance. "You're being ridiculous. Just drinks. You really need to work on this jealousy thing." And then she left. The door closed, and the house went silent, except for the pounding in my chest. For weeks I'd been watching the signs pile up. Late nights, guarded texts, sudden arguments over nothing. I'd confronted her gently, then firmly, then coldly. Always the same deflection. "You're overreacting. You're controlling. You're paranoid." But tonight I knew. I opened my phone and scrolled to the tracker I'd installed 2 weeks ago. Quiet, private shame of mine. I hadn't wanted to use it. Not really. But trust isn't something you gamble with when it's already bleeding out. A little blue dot pulsed on the map. Moving toward the lantern. The same bar I'd mentioned. The same one Daniel liked to post Instagram photos from. Whiskey glasses, dim lights, too cool for this town vibes. I waited 15 minutes. Long enough for her to order a drink. Long enough for him to show up. Then I grabbed my jacket and keys. The lantern was alive with low music and the hum of conversation when I arrived. From the street, I could see the amber glow of its hanging lights, the condensation on the windows. And there she was, Emily, my wife of 7 years. Sitting at a corner table. Her hair tucked behind her ear the way she does when she's nervous and excited. And across from her, Daniel. Tall, smug, leaning in with that fake casualness men wear when they're testing boundaries they already intend to cross. Her hand was on the table. His was close. Too close. I didn't storm in. I didn't make a scene. Not yet. Instead, I stepped inside, ordered a drink, and sat at the bar. Just close enough to watch, just far enough to be unseen. Minutes stretched. They talked. She laughed too loudly. She looked at him the way she used to look at me when we were still new, still uncertain but hopeful. Every smile was a knife. At 10:04 p.m., he reached for her hand. She didn't pull away. That was my moment. I stood, my drink untouched, and walked toward them. Her eyes widened when she saw me, shock, then panic. James, what are you doing here? Smiled. Cold. Funny. I was about to ask you the same thing. Daniel leaned back, his smirk faltering. Hey man, relax. We're just... Shut up, I said, my voice low. This isn't about you. I looked at Emily. Really looked at her. I warned you. I asked you not to do this. Not because I wanted to control you. Because I wanted to protect us. Her lips parted, searching for a script, a lie, a way out. It's not what you think. Don't, I said sharply. Don't insult me with that. The bar had gone quiet in that way bars do when something real is happening, when the fiction of normalcy cracks and people smell the blood. I made a move tonight, Emily, I said, my voice steady. Not here. Earlier. Her brow furrowed. What are you talking about? I pulled a folded envelope from my jacket and placed it on the table between them. That's the retainer agreement for a divorce attorney. I signed it an hour ago. Few murmurs. Daniel shifted uncomfortably, like he wanted to disappear. You chose this, I said, my eyes never leaving hers. Every late-night text. Every secret drink. Every time you made me feel like a jealous fool for seeing what was right in front of me. Tears welled in her eyes. James, please. No, I said, stepping back. You don't get to beg now. You don't get to pretend this was innocent. You crossed the line the moment you made me doubt my own reality. I walked out. The night air hit me like a slap. Cold, sharp, honest. For the first time in months, maybe years, I felt something close to clarity. The next days were a blur of paperwork, frozen accounts, quiet logistics. I moved into the guest room. She texted me long paragraphs at night. Apologies, explanations, half confessions. It wasn't physical, she wrote once. It was just emotional. As if that hurt less. I didn't respond. A week later she came home early. His red voice raw. I made a mistake, she said, standing in the doorway like a stranger. I was lonely. You were always working. He made me feel seen. I looked at her, really looked, and realized I didn't even know this version of her anymore. The one who measured love in attention, not in trust. Emily, I said quietly, I warned you because I loved you. And you ignored me because you didn't. She broke down then, sobbing, shaking, reaching for me. I didn't move. The divorce was finalized 3 months later. She moved out into a small apartment near her office. Kept the house. Kept the silence. Sometimes I still drive past the lantern, see the warm glow of its windows, the promise of easy mistakes inside. But I don't go in. Not anymore. People ask me if I regret it, if I regret not fighting harder, not forgiving, not trying to salvage what we had. And maybe on some nights I do. But then I remember that moment. Her hand on the table, his inching closer, and the way my heart cracked quietly in my chest. That's the thing about betrayal. It doesn't roar. Doesn't explode. Seeps. Slowly. Until there's nothing left to save.